Hi, welcome to the Heart of Illumination. I'm Joseph. Thanks for being here for today's message and transmission. I hope it resonates. Yet, take what resonates and leave the rest. And so today's message is kind of interesting, is weaving some of my experiences and my personal interests and personal experience and allowing the innovation of channeling higher wisdom to see what will help you and resonate. And so I wanted to share my experience with Chinese calligraphy, word, verbal expressive magic in general, and a psychedelic experience I had. So about maybe eight or 9 years ago, I had this experience with a plant teacher. So LSD is derived from a compound in mushroom. I don't recall specifically what it is, but so it's a part of the plant teacher, and I was fortunate and gifted at that experience to receive LSD in a small portion with a group of friends, and it was a part of a personal development program. Yet different people were going through different things. I got what I needed. So what I experienced when I was on LSD or with LSD is the place that we were doing this little ceremony happened to have a painting of Chinese calligraphy, and I still have a picture of it to this day, and I'll have to look it up. So it was a golden frame with a golden background and really beautifully written Chinese calligraphy of maybe like a really profound statement. I'll have to look it up. But yeah, it was really profound. So when I was experiencing the altered state that the LSD helped me to tune into more deeply, and I looked upon the painting, I looked at each of the individual words or characters, right? So Chinese is pictograms, it's just individual characters, and they were originally created as just symbols mimicking what like the thing looked like, right? So if it's a human, it's just a cross and then two legs, right? A human being. And so pictograms. So the characters mimic more of reality than the characters in English or in Western languages. And so and they're also written in calligraphy, right? So Chinese cursive in a way, right? So and those masters, if you look them up, and I made a previous channel mentioning Chinese calligraphy, you can feel free to watch that as what I shared there. So Chinese calligraphy is a form of cursive and an art, and it's an art form. And I know Japanese also have their art form with calligraphy as well. And so for Chinese calligraphy, it's just beautiful to see and experience and to practice the individual brush strokes and then how it comes on the paper. It's just beautiful, beautiful art. And then of course when it's perfectly written, right, obviously you can see that, you can clearly distinguish each word, and once it's fully written, it's an art form by itself. Yet you'll when you are familiar with this art and you have experience with it and you experience it in real life and you talk to masters and how you can feel their way of being and how they have a relationship with the art of calligraphy, you'll know, and you'll feel it in your body. There's a deeper energy, there's a deeper connection, there's a relationship with the Chinese calligraphy. And so some of the masters, when they've refined their craft for so long, and then they write out the calligraphy, they might not look pretty, and you might not be able to read fully understand what they've written, but yet they've instilled in part their magic and their art, their artistry, through the words that they've written. And it's more powerful, and there's an energy that's been instilled in this art, right? Just like a painting, a Western painting, someone doing the brushstroke and drawing a tree, and if they're a master artist, you can tell, and you can feel the difference in the energy of the master artist versus someone that's early stage, developing their relationship with art, with the craft, with that specific technique, with maybe nature, right? Maybe they were drawing people before and then they switched to drawing nature, right? How that initial relationship is kind of in its infancy. So what I want to share is, when I looked upon that painting, it looked like each character was moving, right? It looked like each character was alive, has its own consciousness, has its own personality, right? Has its own distinct energetic signature in the grand tapestry of existence. And I still don't know what that whole paragraph meant. I will look it up. It will be one of my passion projects. But yet I felt the energy of each character. I felt the energy of the entire painting. And like, I was just in utter awe, right? I was just in utter awe looking at that painting, because in that point, and I fully know what I experienced in that point and who I was before that point. And before that point, I would look at calligraphy, Chinese writing, calligraphy, whatever, or just words, as like they're just mirror words on a piece of paper. And once I've had that experience, I'm like, something in me just blowing open. And I was like, wow, each word is so powerful on its own. And they're so mysterious and so mystical. And there's this hidden energy behind it, and there's a mini world waiting to be explored in just the words that we write, regardless of English, Arabic, Chinese, Spanish, whatever, right? There's so much power in the words that we write. And so at least that specific experience opened me up to this idea, this perspective, this journey of, what is all this, right? And so when I was at an event, a calligraphy writing event that coincides with the coming Chinese Lunar New Year, as well as so there were master teachers writing these beautiful, prosperous phrases, like intentions, right? Intentions for the new Chinese Lunar New Year, writing them down and giving them to people for free. And so when I was there, I tapped into my curiosity as an inner child and as a fully grown adult human being. And I'm like, wow, this is really cool. Like, I didn't expect, right, on my trip to Saigon, I didn't expect to encounter something like this for today. But I'm really excited to be here. And the energy was really good, because a lot of people was coming by, asking these masters to write these beautiful loving, prosperous phrases, and then I got to see and experience each master writing them down. Of course, now that I've had this experience, that experience only expanded me while I was at the event, right? It doesn't mean that I saw the words jump out and flying, but yet it connected the dots for me in that moment where whenever someone, right, someone asks for a phrase, right? San tai kin hong, meaning health, good health and well-being, good health and well-being. And they would write San Tai Kin Hong, and I would watch the master write it down with love and intention, and with right, and kind of instilling that phrase with their craftsmanship, mastership, and so, and then of course, he finishes and he gives it back to the person, and that person is just overjoyed and delightful, and usually with gratitude. I'm not saying everybody there was in full gratitude mode, but 99 out of 100. 99 out of 100 people that went there, maybe they had a custom saying they wanted to be written down, but they were in gratitude and they respected the master for their art and craft and writing it down. And of course, these phrases were written on red piece of paper, long red piece of paper and ink. And so once they're written down, they needed to be hung up sometimes, or people can't just fold them up because the ink needs to dry for a little bit. So yeah, that's kind of what happened. And then I also saw little kids, like a kid that was 12 years old sitting next to the master, and he wrote these beautiful Chinese characters, these beautiful phrases, and he was holding his own, and I was like very inspired and proud of these two little kids that was writing these beautiful letters, characters, phrases. And then of course when they give it to the people, they're like really more uplifted as well, because this kid is just so young and he's already doing so well. And of course, one of the things that I shared with some of the people there, a couple of people I chatted with, is that these little kids will be amazing if they continue to be by the master's side, and even if it's not learning the master's craft, just by being nearby them, right? There's some sort of an energy exchange. There'll be another video, but yet there's this I think in English and in personal development circle there are similar saying, and they all align to the same pool of wisdom, right? So in personal development talk, it'll be find good friends and people to be with, and if you're around 4 other people, whatever they are, you'll be the 5th one, right? So if they're all healthy, if they all have healthy mindset and clarity in life and have loving relationships, you're going to be the 5th one that also align to that. But if they're all gamblers and have unhealthy relationships or are very judgmental, unfortunately you're going to be the 5th one that will gamble, have unhealthy relationships, and be judgmental. And so, yet in a kind of other perspective, right? It's also same thing, right? If you are physically, right, you're in an energetic field, right? Like the earth has a magnetic field. We can't physically see it, but through science, through maybe when you're very in tune, you feel it. And even when you're playing with magnets, right? There are magnetic fields on the magnets. We can't see it, but you see that they attract, right, the positive and the negative end on two separate magnets, they attract. And then when you put the two magnets together and they have positive and positive ends together, and you try to push them together, they're going to repel, right? So those are the energetic magnetic fields. And as a human being, we also have our energetic or magnetic field, and you can call them up top as positive or the root kind of as negative, but it's just the poles, right? How energy, body, or energetic matter works. And so we all have these poles and these fields, and part of how our life works is that we attract through our fields, and we also push away with our energetic field. So whoever you are right now will probably attract other people that are kind of like you. And so as you go through shifts, you'll change your field and you'll attract other things, right? And if you go through positive shifts, when you go through positive shifts and you work on yourself and you clear inner stuff, you're gonna attract other people that have went through their own positive shifts and become more healthy as a person, and then they'll come into your life. And so so this message and transmission, I just wanted to share my experience with words, the magic behind words and characters, as well as kind of this a little deeper layer into energetic understanding. So I'll keep this message short. Please feel free to like and comment on this video and share it if someone needs to hear it. And please subscribe to my channel, as these messages and transmission are timeless. You can feel free to come back and dig deeper with the help of each of these messages. Until next time.